Hi all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I have another horrific story to share with you out of Houston, Texas, where police say they received a 911 call around 7:30 in the morning on March 12th of 2025 from someone claiming that their neighbor showed up at their door covered in blood, saying something terrible happened at his house. Police said when they arrived on scene, they found that neighbor, 34-year-old Chance Chavez, standing in the doorway of his home on Emma Forest Street. But when they tried to talk to him to find out why he was covered in blood, they said he was incoherent and they weren't able to get much information from him. So they placed him in the back of the patrol car and looked inside his home to find out what was going on. And it wasn't long into their search before they came across Chance's wife, Kristen, in their bedroom, deceased from blunt force trauma. Chance was taken into custody, and Kristen's mother told the news she received the call that her beautiful daughter was no longer with us. Chance and Kristen didn't have any children, but Kristen had 4 dogs who her family said she loved like children. But her dogs weren't found in their home. So, in a desperate search to find the dogs her daughter loved so much, Kristen's mother and family put out the word that they were searching for her dogs, and they said the community came together to help them find them. As they reeled from the loss of Kristen and searched for her beloved pets, they learned that Chance had taken Kristen's dogs prior to ending her life and drove them out on the Katy Freeway, where he abandoned them on the side of the road. 3 of her 4 dogs were found and reunited with her family, but, as if they weren't already going through enough, her dog Peaches was found deceased also. The day after Kristen's death, her mother posted this heartbreaking and desperate post on Facebook asking for help. It read, "This will be short and to the point. This is my daughter Kristen. She was maliciously unalived by her husband yesterday. My children and I are desperately searching for the last of her 4 dogs that her husband dumped on Katy Freeway. My daughter was incredibly talented, loving, full of integrity, and so much more. A light beaming despite her marriage situation. She suffered silently. We need help. We don't want her husband to get bonded out. We are seeking life without parole. What he did to her and what she endured was horrific. He wasn't insane. It was premeditated and calculated. He knew she was finally going to leave him. Please, anyone that has any knowledge on how to deal with this type of situation in Harris County, please call me. And I'll leave her number out of this video. If you want to help her, you can find her number on her Facebook page under Laura Bell." She continued, "We're desperate for help. His hearing is set for tomorrow. Anyone who knows of domestic AB support groups that can help, please contact them with my number. We're running out of time, exhausted, and broken."
We begin in Northwest Houston, where a woman was found dead this morning in a home on Emma Forest Street during a welfare check. Police say that her husband is now in custody. Devon Raming joining us live from the scene, where he's been speaking with neighbors and detectives. What are you learning, Devon?
Well, Sherman, police have been out here for the last 5 hours on standby. They're actually waiting here behind me to get clearance from a judge who has to sign a search warrant before they're actually able to enter the home to collect evidence, process the scene, and complete their investigation. But this is video from earlier this morning when our cameras were rolling as the victim's husband, who police say is a suspect in this case, was questioned and taken into custody outside the home. Houston police say it was a neighbor who called them claiming the suspect rang the neighbor's doorbell and was covered in blood. The neighbor, who didn't want to go on camera, says the suspect told him something very tragic had just happened in his home. All of this happening just before 7:30 this morning at this home on Emma Forest Street. And when investigators arrived, they say the suspect was rather incoherent, and it was hard to get any information out of him about what actually happened. Right now, investigators say it's unclear how the victim in this case was killed, but neighbors we spoke with say this is something they never saw coming.
There is blunt force injury to her, but I don't know the cause of death yet.
It saddens me because she was extremely friendly. They didn't get in arguments or anything like that in front of us. They never looked like there was tension. There never looked like something could be wrong. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but she was extremely nice.
Investigators say this is a young couple in their early 30s, and neighbors say they'd only been living here for a little over a year. Now, as of right now, no charges in this case have been filed, as the woman's husband, again, is in custody as police wait for clearance to enter the home. Of course, we're going to have much more on this developing story as we learn more. We'll be sure to bring it to you right here on air and online. Live in Northwest Houston, Devon Rahming, KHOU 11 News.
This afternoon, we are learning more about the investigation into a woman's killing in her own home yesterday in the Oak Forest Manor neighborhood. Her husband, 34-year-old Chance Zane Chavez, has been charged with murder. He was arrested outside the Northwest Houston home on Wednesday morning. Devon Rahming joining us live from probable cause court in downtown Houston, where a judge just set bail for Chavez. Devon.
Yeah, Sherman. Chavez wasn't present for his hearing in probable cause court this morning. He was deemed MHU, meaning he is currently in the custody of the Harris County Jail's mental health unit. The state asked that bond be set at $500,000, but the judge decided to set his bond at $250,000, considering he has no criminal history. Now, this is video from his arrest yesterday. Court documents reveal Chavez allegedly killed his wife by striking her with an iron. Chavez was arrested during a welfare check at his home off Emma Forest Street Wednesday morning, where Houston police say he was covered in blood and incoherent. As of right now, we are still waiting to learn the identity of his wife, but we do know that she is 32 years old. Meanwhile, should he post bond, the judge has ordered he have no contact with his wife's family, and he does have to submit to GPS monitoring and will have to remain on house arrest. Live in downtown Houston, Devon Rahming, KHOU 11 News.
A Houston area man accused of killing his wife with an iron in their home. 2 days later, one of her dogs has also been found dead. We want to thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Keith Garvin. Daniela is off. It is a tragic ending to the days-long search for Peaches, one of Christian Chavez's 4 dogs. Family tells us that Kristen's husband dumped the dogs around the same time he is accused of murdering her. KPRC2's Bryce Newberry has the sad details tonight as Kristen's family begins their fight for justice.
The family had been desperate to find Peaches the dachshund to try to hold on to some sense of their murdered loved one. They learned late Friday the dog had been found, but not alive, as they continue trying to understand the brutal and senseless killing of Kristen Chavez. At just 32,
my sister was my best friend, you know, my ride or die.
Kristen Chavez still had so much potential, a big sister and paralegal.
She was very ambitious, loved to help people, very outgoing. She never met a stranger.
A daughter whose mother was so proud.
Always had a positive attitude.
But Wednesday morning, inside a home in this gated community on Emma Forest Street, she was found dead.
A lot of emotions right now. It's hard to put it into words, you know.
Allegedly killed by her husband, Chance Chavez, arrested near their home. Investigators say he hit her in the head repeatedly with a clothing iron, found broken in 2 pieces near her body. Even worse, the room had several holes in the wall, prosecutors say, and the 4 fur babies she loved dearly were gone.
She loved them like her children, so those are my grandkids, or granddogs, I should say.
They believe he dumped them in the wee hours of Wednesday before police say he knocked on a neighbor's door covered in blood, begging for help. 3 of the dogs were found by Thursday evening near the Katy Freeway and Greenhouse Road.
We kept calling the number trying to get in touch with the owner, not realizing the horror that had occurred earlier.
Susan Baggio's rescue organization took one of the Australian shepherds in, helping reconnect him with Kristen's family.
I care very much about victims, whether they're human or animal.
She tried to keep helping them find Peaches, but the family got contacted late Friday that the oldest dog had been found dead.
It feels like a nightmare.
Kristen's family now won't give up, fighting for the confident and determined woman they knew.
Her greatest thing was learning and just growing, evolving into the woman she wanted to be.
Chance Chavez is charged with murder, being held on a $250,000 bond. Kristen's family says they'd like to see that higher or denied, which we could find out more about when he makes his first court appearance on Monday morning. I'm Bryce Newberry, KPRC 2 News.
Chance Chavez was due in court for a preliminary hearing, but it was postponed until March 17th. And even though the DA asked for bail in the amount of $500,000, the judge he went before after his arrest set his bail at half that, which has left Kristen's family terrified that he may make bail and be set free before his trial. So they started a petition on change.org called Increase Bail and Demand Maximum Sentence for Kristen Chavez's Murderer. If you're interested in signing it to help support justice for Kristen. And a bit more information about the background of this case was shared on the page for the petition. It reads, The issue. Kristen Chavez was a victim of incessant DV and AB, which ultimately led to her unaliving by her own husband, Chance Zane Chavez, at the tender age of 32. Her brave attempts to break free from the destructive relationship ended tragically. This horrifying incident isn't just a private sorrow for our family, but a sharp reflection of the DV menace that we need to tackle as a society. As per the National Coalition Against DV, 20 people per minute are physically AB'd by an intimate partner in the United States. Kristen was among those statistics, and we cannot ignore the severity of this issue. Initially set at $500,000, Chance Zane Chavez's bail has been unfairly lowered to $250,000. We insist on a bail increase and on the application of the maximum sentence for such a heinous crime. This case must serve as a standard, ensuring that domestic ABs understand the definitive consequences of their actions, hopefully deterring potential offenders. Bearing in mind Kristen's intense struggle and the dreadful way her life was taken, we strongly urge the legal system to shed light on this case and dispense justice in her name. Kristen deserves that justice, and countless victims of DV deserve to see that justice applied. Sign this petition to herald a change that is long overdue. Again, you can find the petition at change.org. In another heartbreaking Facebook post made by Kristen's mother, she said that she and her children learned of the weapon Chance used to end Kristen's life on the news. She's referring to the report that recently came out that police found a clothing iron split in two at the scene. Her post read, I did need to mention that my children and I didn't receive details of the weapons used to commit Kristen's unaliving. We were devastated to hear about one particular one used was on the news tonight, and very descriptive. It crushed us to hear. The brutality and suffering my daughter endured was unimaginable. We didn't know what he used, but we saw what was left behind. Heart-wrenching and unthinkable. Please, we ask that everyone share the petition for a higher bond to keep Kristen's murderer in jail. I'll be praying for Kristen's family to get the increased bail they're looking for, to keep Chance behind bars while he awaits trial. And I pray that Kristen Chavez rests in peace. Thank you so very much for watching. I appreciate it. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you on my next video.